Hello everyone, welcome to UPSC Journey. I am Kirti Shokeen, and today in this session we are going to cover the Hindu newspaper comprehensively for June 4th, 2026. We are going to cover some important topics for prelims, some key concepts for your UPSC preparation, as well as editorial analysis for your mains. So make sure that you stay till the end. You can download these notes from our Telegram channel, can also visit our website for a comprehensive look of the UPSC preparation. Now we have curated this session from UPSC perspective only so that it helps you in your UPSC preparation directly. So make sure to make the best of this content. Now let us start with the first topic of the day, that is 21 dead in hotel fire, and foreigners were among the victims. Now this hotel fire was in Delhi, specifically in a posh area, Malviya Nagar. So from all of this also becomes important for your disaster management, but that is a GS3 perspective. You can also use such incidents as example. Now let us jump to the prelims part. So we have covered what the news in particular is, that there has been a major fire outbreak in South Delhi, Malviya Nagar. 21 people around got killed, and there were foreign nationals involved as well. Now, the news is also saying that it was allegedly operating without any mandatory fire safety clearance. So, there was no clearance. Now, let us know about what is the fire safety certificates or fire NOC. It is a fire no objection certificate, and you have to remember that it is issued by the State Fire Service Department after verifying that it has been taken all the important steps for fire precautions. The purpose, of course, is to give safe evaluation, and in case there is any casualty, then we can give the first aid and we can prevent all these casualties from happening in the first place. Now it reduces risk to life and property, and it is mandatory for specified categories in buildings. Now this is important for prelims. For what all categories it is important? It is very important for hotels and guest houses, hospitals, educational institutions, high-rising buildings, commercial complexes, and assembly buildings. Now important fact, we have to know that fire services comes in the state list. Now, this could be a question in prelims in one of your statements. Then there is NDMA, National Disaster Management Authority, about which we will be learning shortly. You have to remember that NDMA chairperson is Prime Minister, and NBCs or NOCs are published by the BIS, Bureau of Indian Standards. Current NBC version is 2016. These are very important. We will be covering both of these shortly. Then there is a Disaster Management Act that covers such incidents. Fire NOC, as we were discussing, is issued by State Fire Department, and Part 4 of NBCs covers fire and life safety. There is again an important framework. Now this could be a question in your prelims as well, that what is the Sendai framework particularly associated with, and what is the time period? The time period is 2015 to 2013. This is a very important box, especially for prelims, so you have to remember all this. Now we were talking about NBC. Now let us see what NBC is. NBCs are known as National Building Codes. These are issued by Bureau of Indian Standards. Latest version is of 2016, and it is a model code conduct. It is not a law by itself. It is adopted by states through local building bylaws. So this is there is a law such as National Multi-Cooperative Law Code basically. So these are the codes upon which state laws can be made. Now you can adopt it as same as the code given, but you can also modify it as per your needs. Now part 4 of NBC, National Building Code, covers fire and life safety, which includes fire prevention, fire protection systems, emergency evacuation, fire resistance constructions. Then provisions, of course, are about there should be emergency staircase, fire exits, smoke management, fire alarms, sprinkler systems and water storage facility in every building that comes under such code. Then we have to cover what is BIS, since BIS gives NBCs. Now this could also be the factual data for BIS could also be asked in prelims. So Bureau of Indian Standards was established in 1986. It is a statutory body under BIS Act. 2016 there was a modification, and ministry is very important, Ministry of Consumer Affairs. Now, what are the functions? It gives standard formulation, product certification, quality assurance, and national building code publication. Then, what are the fire services in India? We know that fire services comes under state list, therefore, under the 7th schedule. Now, remember that it comes under state list. There has been questions in UPSC CSE Prelims earlier which gives you the data or the name of organizations and then ask you under which list it comes. Then we have disaster management framework. For any disaster that happens, we have different frameworks such as National Disaster Management Authority, then there is a state DMA, then there is a district DMA. This is more of a mains perspective content, but you also need to know this for prelims as well. What do? They do risk assessment, they also prepare, they give emergency responses, and they helps in capacity building. Now we have covered that. You have to remember that PM is the chairperson of NDMA. Fire triangle: heat, fuel, and oxygen. If you have these three, removing any of these extinguishes fire, and if you have all these three present, then fire increases. There are also different types of fire extinguishers that you just might want to know to expand your knowledge. We have water based, we have foam based, we have CO2 based, we have dry chemical powder based, and we have cleaning agent as well. Now let us cover about NDMA. So NDMA was established in 2005. Prime Minister is the chairperson, and these are the functions: basically guidelines, coordination, and disaster policies. Headquarter of NDMA is in New Delhi. Now you may also know what are the common causes of urban fires. This is again from your mains perspective: electrical, structural, administrative, and human factors. Then hotels and guest houses, fire safety requirements. We have covered this, that all those buildings that comes under NVCs have to cover some fire safety procedures and precautions. Now, there are also government initiatives related to this topic, such as smart city missions, in which we try to prevent any kind of such disaster. Then we have AMRUT, NDMP, that is National Disaster Management Plan, and Sendai framework. You have to remember that to Sendai framework, India is a signatory. It is a global framework. It understands disaster risk, it strengthens governance, it helps in investing in resilience, and it helps in enhancing preparedness. So this was about the first prelims topic that we needed to cover. Then second is about the pollution levels in Delhi and NCR. There has been a scheme that has approved pollution that has been approved to cut pollution levels in Delhi NCR. So let us see what is it. The Union Cabinet has approved 2-year scheme for NCR region. What are the highlights? Total financial outlay, so around 9,500 CR, and there are also tax concessions given. Now you may not remember these exact numbers, but you have to keep this in mind. Ministry implementing ministry is very important and very unusual: Ministry of Road Transport, Highways, and Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. Now let us see what is the NCR. NCR has a statutory basis: National Capital Region Planning Board Act 1985. We have another governing body for its NCR board, administrative ministry is MoHUA. So you have to remember all these three ministries. Constituent areas, of course, Delhi, Haryana, UP, Rajasthan. National Capital Region Planning Board. This is very, very important for prelims. It was established in 1985. Its functions are to give regional plans, coordinate, promote sustainable urbanization, and then there is also a statement that gives that under this scheme we will be following BS 6 norms. So this is what this article is stating. For that we need to know what are BS norms in particular. So let us see to that. Bharat stage, that is BS standards, are emissions norms initiated by Government of India to regulate air pollution. Ministry is Ministry of Road and Transport. European emission standards, it is based on that. Now there has been different stages, but what is important for us to know is that we directly jumped from BS4 norms to BS6. So there has been more pollutants included in BS6 to which we have to avoid being emitted from vehicles. Now BS6 is currently in implementation from 2020. BS6 norms. What all pollutants does it cover? Very, very important. Nitrogen oxide, sulfur oxide, hydrocarbons, and particulate matter. BS6 fuel, there is a particular fuel which has been created based on BS6 which do not emit these all of these pollutants. So there is a sulfur content reduced to 10 ppm in BS6 fuels compared to 50 ppm in BS4. You have to remember this. Now let us see different policies and initiatives that are being talked about in this article that we were just covering. There is a mention of vehicle scrappage policy. It was launched in 2021. You must know about it that it aims to remove old and polluting vehicles. It promotes fuel and efficient safer vehicles. So basically it says that if your vehicle is old, come to us, we'll scrap it and will give you the money, and you'll also get some concessions while you are buying another car or another vehicle of yours. So next policy or facility talked about in this is about the registered vehicle scrapping facility. Now for scrappage policy you need to have these facilities. Again, their benefit is that it helps in resource recovery, pollution reduction, circular economy promotion. So this basically is more about mains section as well, but you never know, prelims and mains are so much overlapping nowadays that you need to know everything that you can about all the related topics from these particular articles. So there are different government initiatives for EV adoption, electrical vehicles adoption, so that we need not use coal-based fuel, petrol, CNG or anything like that, diesel. And even if we are using that, then we have different norms such as BS6 that we were just covering. Then let us see what is a FAME India scheme, faster adoption and manufacturing of hybrid and EVs. Ministry is heavy industry. You have to remember ministries. There has been previous year questions on FAME India. PM E-Drive, it is especially for electric drive revolution. Then again, ministries of heavy industries. Then we have NCAP, National Clean Air Program. It was launched in 2019. Ministry is Ministry of Environment. It is a national level air pollution mitigation strategy. It focuses on pollutants PM 2.5 and PM 10. Then we also need to know what is AQI. AQI is developed by CPCB. It is basically air quality index, and this air quality index is given in newspapers every day. Now this is the category qualification that you might want to go through. If we have 301 to 400, then the quality of air is very poor, which usually in India is the case. Now we have Central Pollution Control Board, CPCB, that was giving AQI. So it was established in 1974. Remember the statutory basis, very, very important. Usually we think that it is about air pollution. So Air Act will be covering this, but it was established under Water Act, and some of the powers to CPCB are also given under Air Act, but it was particularly established under Water Act only. So you also have to remember the ministries. Then there are different pollutants which are being asked in CSE regularly: PM 2.5, 10, nitrogen oxide, sulfur dioxide, CO, and ground level ozone. You have to remember all these, very, very important for prelims, and you might want to look into depth for all of these pollutants. We know that what are the major sources of air pollution. It is vehicles, industrial emissions, dust pollution, agriculture sources, and of course domestic sources as well. Now these are also important from polity perspective. What are the basis of constitutional provisions and their linkages with environment? First of all, it is Article 48A and 51G, so basically DPSP, and Article 21, right to clean air and water, is also a part of right to life and liberty under Article 21. Then 48A and 51AG states that it is the fundamental duty under 51G, fundamental duty of citizens to protect and improve natural environment, and under DPSP 48A, state shall provide the improvement of environment. So this was about our second topic of the day. Now let us see what is the third important topic. Third important topic covers S-400 air defense system. This news in particular is not important, that Russia has delivered fourth squadron of S-400 air defense system, but what is S-400 in itself is important for us. UPSC CSE is now focusing on defense systems and exercises very much. So S-400, all the more after Operation Sindoor, becomes very, very important for us. So we have used S-400. It is a Triumph air defense system in Operation Sindoor, and it was praised by ministers in parliamentary sessions as well. So S-400 basically is an air defense system that we got from Russia. We have basically imported this. We also have made some personal changes to S-400 so that it can suit Indian needs. Now let us see what it is exactly. You have to remember all the important details for S-400. It is a mobile, long range, very, very important, multi-layered air defense systems designed to detect, track, and destroy. Destroy what all? Fighter aircrafts, even bombers, even UAVs, cruise missiles, ballistic missiles, and AEW&C aircrafts. So basically, any threat that has been detected in air can be countered by S-400, and this is exactly how we used this. Now there are different range variants as well. This is what we used for 400 kilometer. So S-400, when we say S-400, this 400 is the range. 400 kilometer is the range. What it can do, what are the technical features of it? Up to 300 plus targets simultaneously. I mean, this is a huge number. It can engage multiple targets at the same time. It has the maximum target speed, that it is hypersonic in nature, and it can engage at very low altitude to near space trajectories. So even the height that it covers is humongous. The range is again very humongous. Now we have covered that it was used against Pakistan, it was used against China as well, then it has multi-layered sheets. Now we also have to see what are the components of S-400, which we'll be doing just now. But before that, you know that S-400 is part of Integrated Air Defense System of India. Now what is IAD? It is a defense system which contains all the components such as radars, sensors, missile systems, even command centers and communication sectors. S-400 is an important component of our integrated air defense system. We have different missiles such as Akash and Nirbhay missiles, which are also a part of air defense systems. Now, S-400 we have seen there is a NATO reporting name. NATO calls it Growler. It is a long range missile. We have seen that. It is a Russian missile. We have seen that. This is the particular company inducted by Russia in 2007, but India took its contract in 2018 and numbers 5 regimental systems. So these systems basically have different numbers, but we have a contract importing 5 such packages. Now, what are the components of S-400? It has a surveillance radar component, which basically detects any threat. Then we have engagement radar. It tracks and guides missile. Control and command center. It processes battlefield information and allocates targets. And then there are missile launches. So these basically 4 systems makes one S-400 complete. Now, air defense and missile defense. Missile defense, we have ballistic missiles, which basically are covered under S-400, since S-400 has missiles to engage also, and then air defense is about protecting. So it also protects since it can detect. Now, AI integration with S-400 is currently going on. We are integrating AI so that it can help in threat prioritization, target classification, target selection, etc. Now, missile types. We have seen that there are different ranges and different missile type. We particularly are interested in range 400 kilometer. That is why we have named it as S-400. Now, related Indian air defense systems, we were talking about Akash missile system. It is indigenous. Next generation, we have different QRSAM, quick reaction, surface to air missiles. Medium range, we have XR, extended range. These are all surface to air missile systems, and these are all indigenous systems. Now, for UPSC Prelims, we have covered all these facts and important data. Now, next thing that we are doing with S-400 is that we are increasing its range to 500, and we'll call it next generation. It will also help in air missile and space defense, which is very important nowadays, especially against China. Its range will be more than 600 kilometer reported as of now. I think then its name will be changed to S-600. Earlier, it could target only aircraft and missiles, and now it will be able to target space-based missiles as well. Now, DRDO has made Akash system, Akash NG, QRSAM, MGRSAM. So for that, we need to cover what is DRDO. DRDO comes under Ministry of Defense. It is an autonomous organization. It was established in 1958 and its headquarters are in New Delhi. It basically delivers uh, different systems, defense systems to Army, Air Force, and Navy, and helps in research and development. Now, another topic is about ATF Price Stabilization Fund. Let us see what is a price stabilization fund. Why is it in news? Because Union Cabinet has approved a 10,000 crore aviation turbine fuel price stabilization fund. So for this article, we need to know 2 important things. First, what is ATF? Second, what is price stabilization fund? Now, what are the key features of the fund? It is a one-time support. It will have interest-free advances, very important for prelims. It is intended to stabilize ATF prices. So basically now you know that aviation turbine fuel has spiked its rate, and that is why we have to give this fund to stabilize it. It operates as a self-sustaining revolving fund, and it has to be implemented through an MOU. Now let us see what is ATF. It is an aviation turbine fuel It is basically a fuel that is used in jets or airplanes. So what are the characteristics? It is a high energy density. These characteristics are also very important. High energy density, it has low freezing point since this fuel is needed in liquid form at the high altitude. Then high thermal stability, and it is designed for operations at high altitudes. Now, why was this fund needed? Because there has been a hike of 30 to 40% of the airline operating cost. Then it can exceed 50 to 60% of total operating expenditure at times. What is the impact? It will help, it will actually increase airline cost. It will reduce airline profitability, operational disruption, disturbation will happen, low passenger demand, and there will be a pressure on aviation sector growth. So for this, and now how the price stabilization fund works, we gave price stabilization fund. Now let us see how it works. Government gives interest-free budgetary support. It will be given to participating airlines. They will procure more fuel, therefore the supply will increase and the cost will come down. Now these are the basic OMCs or oil marketing companies that we all know: Hindustan, Bharat and Indian Oil Corporation. Now what is the crude oil and ATF relationship? If ATF is produced from crude oil, so if the oil prices increases due to various reasons, such as there is a war in Middle East Asia, such as there is supply chain disruptions, then the price of ATF also increases. Then crude oil benchmarks. These benchmarks has been asked in previous year questions. The names were given and asked what are these. Brent crude, it is a North Sea benchmark. WTI used by US benchmark. Dubai and Oman crude used for Asian markets. So this is basically a benchmark that if the price in West Asia or the Oman has this much of money, this much of increase in the cost, then it will have same impact over the rest of the world. So why is West Asia matters? Because of Strait of Hormuz and Bab el Mandeb Strait. Now these are very important for trades, hence the supply chain resilience depends. Then why it impacts India the most? Because India imports around 85%. Then there is a global price shock, supply disruption, geopolitical conflicts. We have already covered this. There are also two important organizations that you need to cover for aviation sector. Particularly, Ministry of Civil Aviation covers DGCA, Directorate General of Civil Aviation. Functions are air safety regulation, aircraft certification, even the licensing, which is very, very important, and operational standards. Then we have Airport Authority of India. It was established in 95. Ministry is same, Ministry of Civil Aviation. So this was about this article. Then we have another article that we need to cover, which is again very important for UPSC perspective, which covers RBI and its gold reserves. Now Bloomberg said that 2 days ago, Bloomberg said that RBI has sold around 2 billion of its gold reserves, and this has never happened in Indian history that RBI had to sell such gold reserves. So RBI has now given a clarification on the same. But let us first see what is RBI. It was established in 1935. It is basically the highest level bank. It also gives loans to bank. Therefore, it is a bank of banks. It is a statutory body under 1934 Act. It was nationalized in 1949. Headquarters is in Mumbai. Governor is the head of RBI. Therefore, we have a RBI governor, India's central bank. These are the functions. Bankers Bank we have seen, lender of last resort because it gives money to banks. It also formulates monetary policy, for which we have a monetary policy committee. Monetary policy deals with the inflation and liquidity crisis. Then we have currency issuance, except rupee 1 note and all the coins. Rest of the money is issued by RBI and it is bankered to governments. We have seen this. There has been a question on functions of RBI previously. So you have to see that. So we were talking about MPC. Now let us see, it was established in 2016. RBI Act 1934 has a statutory basis. Earlier, there were three members: RBI governor, deputy governor, and one member that they nominate. In that, these are three members that comes from RBI side, and there are other three members that are appointed by central government. So there are total 6 members in Monetary Policy Committee. Earlier, directly RBI was looking into monetary policy, but now this MPC covers monetary policy and inflation targets. The inflation target is 4% plus minus 2%. Now, what are the components of India's forex reserve? What are forex reserves? These are the foreign exchange reserves that are external assets held by a country's central bank. So every country has a central bank, and every bank has these reserves known as foreign exchange reserves. So these basically are the reserves that help us in exchanging. For example, if there are people going out of the country, then they need dollars or whatever another currency that they have. So they need to change Indian rupees to that currency. Now, where did that dollar will come from? All these comes from exchange reserves. This is foreign because it is usually done in foreign currency. Now let us see what are the components of these forex reserves. These are very, very important for prelims. Foreign currency assets, keeping currency directly. Then we also can keep gold. Now currently we have 880.52 tons, around 881 ton of gold, which is like very, very good, and RBI has clarified it recently only. So gold reserves are also a part, and if we need like much of the currency, much of the foreign currency, then we can sell this gold. Then there is special drawing rights for IMF, and there is reserve transposition of IMF only. Now for these we need to cover IMF in details, which is a separate topic in itself, but we'll be looking over what is SDR and what are the reserve transposition. Now gold as a reserve asset, we have seen why is it important, and reserve management is done by RBI. Now SDRs are created by IMF. It was introduced in 1969. This is the basket currency. You have to remember these. There are 5 currency in IMF baskets. Then we have foreign currency assets. US Treasury security. In the currency we keep dollars, we keep sovereign bonds. Sovereign bonds are the government bonds such as GSEC, government securities. High rated international security and deposit with foreign central bank. Every bank has different deposits, some with the small banks, some with the big banks. So some other bank of Europe or America will have some deposits with RBI as well. For them, the deposits with RBI will be foreign bank deposits. Why does RBI hold forex reserves? We have covered this for exchange rate stability, for external sector stability, for import cover, for investor confidence, and for crisis management. When rupee depreciate excessively, this is how RBI intervenes in forex market. RBI sell US dollars, increases dollar supply, reduces pressure on money. If appreciates excessively, then it buys dollars, and it reduces dollars supply, increases reserve, therefore reduces excessive appreciation. Now gold is a physical reserve asset. It is limited in nature. It has a very low default risk because usually we have it in our hands and usually the rate increases, and it helps in diversification and safety. Now Bank for International Settlements, BIS, it is important to know that there has been questions on this as well. You just need to know that it is based in Switzerland, Basel. 1930 it was established in, and it is a central bank of central banks. So we have different banks in the country. There is a central bank for these banks in the country, and for different central banks of different countries. We have one bank of the world, which is known as Bank for International Settlements. Now currency issuance system, it was minimum reserve system. It was established in 1956. and it is basically the minimum amount is 105 crore in gold, remaining in foreign securities. You might want to remember this. Now, this was all about important topics for prelims. Now, let us see the editorial analysis for mains. How India has scaled its startup industry from 2016 to 2005. So we know that there has been different schemes, Startup India, Stand Up India, and there has been increase in the number of startups to 77% in 2025 from 3% in 2014, and humongous jump. Now let us see that what has happened in these years. So the article states that during 10 years there has been a humongous jump. India has become the number one country in startups and thereby sowed the seed. This was our goal, to become number one. The three traits that make startups different from conventional business are an emphasis on innovation, use of technology, and market opportunity. Very, very important for mains answer. To distinguish startups from other business, what is the department involved? DPIIT. Recognize these startups, but for these startups, we have different conditions. For any business to be called as startups, they should not be more than 10 years old, and then there should not be a split. It has to use research and development. There should be an innovation involved. Minimum 100, maximum 100 crore of the asset, not more than that, can be called a startup. Then there is a growing willingness to join the formal system. There were steps that gave it a formal system or formal setup so that different startups can come in India. Now, what is the important part that we have to cover from this article is that these startups are coming from tier 3 cities. Therefore, people like you and me are able to establish different startups now. They are going for making companies. And what are the benefits of making a startup? You can give employment, you generate employment, and you help in increasing GDP. There is more production. You become a part of MSME as well. You help other MSMEs while you are procuring your raw material or half made products from them. Therefore, you are adding to GVA. Now, what are the shortcomings from means perspective? You can be asked that what are the shortcomings? There are still cases of red tapeism, that files get stuck. There is not enough money given to people. So you have different schemes such as Startup India, Stand Up India. Now, Stand Up India gives money especially to women and SC/ST. Therefore, there is not enough money available with people so that they can start with that. Then there is a problem of defaulting. Most of the startups may start well off, but then they are not able to continue with the production. Then there is a shifting as well. They may, shift their profit to some other country or shift their company straightforwardly to some other country after they are well established in India. Therefore, we give them the seed money, but then whenever it is the time for India to earn from them, they shift their companies to some other country. So these are the problems that we face in startups. Now let us see what other chart says. There has been a 20% growth rate in female startups, female founders, and there is a 14% growth rate in male startups. This is a very important data. Now this shows that these are the not funded startups and these are the funded startups. So not funded startups by government is also increasing and has increased from 2016 to 2025 regularly. There is an increase in startup funding as well. Therefore, we have government initiatives, we have private investors, we have programs like Shark Tank India, which gives seed fund or seed money for these startups to grow. And there are also people who have not taken any money from other sources, who have bootstrap means you use your own money to start a project. So they used the bootstrap technique to found their own company and run it. So this is basically a very good condition for India, that the startup is increasing. So we expect that there will be an more increase in these startups. Currently, we stand at third position in the world. We intend to come at first position in the world as a startup country, but we need to do reforms. For that, we have done ease of doing business, but we need to reform those as well. We need to give tax remissions, we need to give PLIs for more sectors, product link incentives. So these are basically the way forward for your answers, or if questions on startups are asked. So this was all about today. We have covered the mains article and different prelims article that was important for you to cover from the Hindu of June 4th. If you like the content, do like, share, subscribe, press the bell icon and ring it if the new content is uploaded, so that you stay in connect. Do like, share, subscribe, and see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.